Hello family, my name is Chris, I am your home gamer dad, and so you've been wondering, I wonder what LuciCreations has been up to lately. So you've been thinking, I wonder if they're going to put out any more of those really cool 0 to 2 player games. AI versus AI, that's got to be a whole lot of fun. So you've been searching, and here you are right now, where I am here to talk to you about the latest Kickstarter that they have up that is a continuation of such line of games that they are putting out. What we have today is man versus monster, wizard versus wolf, Jekyll versus Hyde as two sides fight each other for total dominance. Today we'll be going over to the Kickstarter and I'll be talking to you about why I backed So You've Been Cursed. As mentioned before, this is the continuation of their So You've Been series. Now, I was completely shocked. I had no idea this was even coming out. This was even a thing that they were thinking about doing or whatever, because So You've Been Eaten is a great game. I love this game. I still have it. I backed it originally. I got all the bells and whistles to it and everything along that way. So put LuciCreations on my radar personally. And just the concept of, 1v1 is fine, but then you have 1v whatever other side you want. This one has a a miner versus this giant space beast that you have all over here in the box. And then you could be the miner versus the hibernating beast, or the hibernating beast, the regular beast versus the robotic miner, or take the robotic miner and versus the hibernating beast, where the two AI programs kind of mash up against each other. You don't know who's going to win. You still got to do stuff. You still got to roll dice and play things or whatever, but it's the AI making all the decisions. And I thought that is fantastic. Now we have So You've Been Cursed, the next one in the series. It is not a sequel to the game. It's just the next one that is put out there. Kind of like, it's not an expansion because it's 100% its own thing. Think of like the Horrified series, for example. The original Horrified is Universal Monsters. Then you have the American Monsters, you have the Greek mythology, and now this new one that's out as well. Each one of those are standalone games, but it's within the Horrified universe. This is the So You've Been universe, or whatever, So You've Been series, or whatever you want to call it along that ways. To give you a good idea about what makes Cursed different from Eaten, and if it's something that you would be interested in, let us head on over to their Kickstarter page, start scrolling through that so you can see exactly what you would need to do should you befall a terrible curse that turns you into a monstrous wolf at night and you have to eat all the villagers, because that's what monsters do. So let's head on over there and check it out. All right, here we are. So You've Been Cursed. Ooh, an unfortunate wizard and an angry monster, a village terrorized. Again, this is very, very interesting concept right here. Again, this is designed by Scott Almus. He actually did So You've Been Eaten, and I assume again he's going to be continuing this series and everything. And this is, of course, a 0 to 2 player game, which again, I will talk more about that as I go through this if you are not familiar with exactly how the So You've Been series goes. And I'm going to call it that. Even though there's only 2 in the series, this is the second one, So You've Been Eaten as first, I'm just going to go with that. So You've Been series, So You've Been universe, So You've Been wondering if this actually has a name to it. I don't know, I'm just making stuff up. Big note right here, really big note to this campaign for anybody watching this. This is a US only campaign. There will be options for international availability down in the bottom, which is nice that they actually put that into the Kickstarter for anybody that is in the UK or, other places overseas or whatever, Canada, apparently, things like that. You'll have an idea of what you would need to do in order to get your hands on this game, because this particular Kickstarter will only be going out to US residents. So, yay, I was able to get it. Hooray, hurrah! But it is upsetting for other people around the world. But it's explained a little bit later. Now, a little bit of backstory right here. Wizard business, occupational hazards, things happen, things go awry and everything. And then, oh no, you have been cursed. So there's a monster running around at night, terrorizing the villagers, and what's worse, eating them. Oh, and the monster is you. Oh my goodness. No need to despair. There's a cure. Possibly. So as the way that it works with So You've Been Cursed, you are fighting off against 2 opposing sides. Depending on what side you are on, you're either going to be the wizard, who is going to be brewing a potion in order to make sure that they stay a wizard, they get rid of the curse and all that other fun stuff, or you're going to be playing as the monster, where you'll be running around eating villagers, but also strengthening the curse in order to make sure that the wizard cannot change back into a wizard. I mentioned it before in the intro, but this is a Jekyll and Hyde situation because literally both characters are the same pawn. And as we go forward with that, you'll see how that incorporates into the overall mechanics of the game. The Kickstarter does go over the rules of the game in more detail as we go forward, plus the videos that it provides, but just for the, basic rundown of it all, the wizard must obtain ingredients, steal coins, cast spells, which also gives them coins, by the way, in order to find cures, in order to not fully succumb to the curse. The monster must eat as much as possible, gaining strength, growing in satisfying hunger, growing in strength, in order to become a legendary creature, which it will never transform back. And then the ways you play it, 2 players, where one is the wizard, one is the monster. 1 player can be the wizard versus the rabid monster, that's what the AI is called in this one. Or you could be the monster against the possessed wizard, that's what the AI wizard is. Or, for 0 game, rabid monster against possessed wizard. And just like so you've been eaten, basically it is each one of the AI characters has, things that it does, for the game. You just got to kind of throw down cards, roll a few dice in order to determine this, and then it kind of does its own thing. You do have to move stuff around. It's not fully automated, obviously, but it's still fun seeing it go up against itself. So much fun. We got over here the Game Boy Geek that did a fantastic rules school for this and everything. So this is the intro. He does do a rules school a little bit later. Definitely check those out. He did a lot for this game. A big supporter of this and everything like that. I loved watching all this. I've actually watched it a few different times to make sure that I knew what to play when I went and played it myself. And I'll explain again that momentarily. Big thing with that at the end. So you've decided to back the campaign. Let's see. Want the all-in Fire and Forgot pledge? Hyper high-end, blah, 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 blah. Basically it's just a collector's edition. So what I love about Ludai Games, or Ludai Creations, is that their campaigns are just what they are. There's no stretch goals. There's no additional unlockings. There's no things that, there's no surprises, unfortunately, through it. You see what it is, and that's what it is. However, they put everything out in front of you immediately, and I greatly respect them for that. There's nothing hidden behind paywalls. There's nothing Kickstarter exclusive or anything along that ways. Yes, if you back the collector's edition here, I believe you'll get like a mini expansion for it and whatnot, but that doesn't mean that that's not available to others later on, and that's fantastic. They don't believe in any of that stuff, and I am, again, greatly appreciated for that. I do love campaigns where stretch goals unlocks. We see where we got. It's exciting. It's fun to constantly go back and see whatever, but this is what they chose to do, and I say all the power to them. It's a great, refreshing take on a Kickstarter because it's more or less just like, hey, check this out. Tell us what you would like. We'll be able to provide that for you. Now, contents, basic edition. This is just standard game, no bells and whistles and things along that ways. We get the box, the village board, which is double-sided because one side is for, I believe, the regular wizard. The other side is for the possessed wizard. Wizard board and the monster board. I believe both of these are double-sided as well, depending on who you're playing as. Bunch of different cards. The power cards are how the monster does things. The spell cards are abilities that the wizard does. And it's either enough to help them out particularly or to hinder their other half. These are your AIs right here. You have a bunch of village cards right here. I'm not sure what these are for, considering you have villager tokens or whatever, but I have to check that out. But these are your decks that you would use if you're going up against any of the AIs. So this is your possessed wizard. This is your ravenous monster. These villagers, 27 villager tokens here, which is very interesting because again, I'm not sure what the cards are for, but these villager tokens go into a bag that you pull out randomly that go out on the board, and that's where you determine where your villagers are. Because what the wizard needs to do is they need to buy potions from villagers, or ingredients, I should say, and each color villager represents a different color ingredient. So like the farmers give you the mandrake root, the butchers give you the bones, brown with brown, black with black, yellow, purple, things along that ways. You can also see that there's different numbers of them along the way as well, meaning that these over here are rarer than, of course, the hunters, which are the black, or the farmers, which are green. A bunch of cardboard tokens, energy tokens for the wolf, coins for the wizard, your dice that you're going to need, town guard tiles, and of course, the bag that throws everything in. Premium edition, or the collector's edition, whatever it is, everything that you would normally get in the basic edition. Your ingredients now, I believe, are not, are these tokens as well? tiles. So those are tiles. These are full-on wooden tokens, which are awesome. And then, of course, your trackers are also now wooden. Oh, here's collectors. So you got Premium Edition, which upgrades a few pieces. Collector's Edition, that's the one that I backed. There you go. Which has all of this. And now the Town Guards have been upgraded. These are full-on replacements. I believe the tiles aren't there, so you're going to get these. Same thing for these beautiful acrylic energy tokens, which I've seen people use in videos, and I can't wait to have these. Of course, gold-plated, custom-shaped metal coins. Metal coins are the best. Oh, this is the greatest. Double-sided, triple-layered board. So these things are going to be standing up to all types of abuse. Some tuck boxes, which I love to have, because you can always store all kinds of cool stuff in it. The Weird Livestock promo. This is that expansion I was talking about. And then, of course, a slightly, I don't think the box is bigger, 200 by 200 by size. I just want to go up here really quickly to see what the size is. No, it's the same size. It's just the UV coated to give it a nice little sheen to it. It's actually the same size as this right here. So if you have So You've Been Eaten, So You've Been Cursed can go nicely on top or behind it or next to it or however you want to do it. I just want to put that back down there. And then, of course, the LuciCreations loyalty discount, which means basically you get a discount on So You've Been Cursed if you've backed other projects from them before. I do want to back up really quickly on these because I actually didn't even notice it the first time I went through, but now that I'm talking about it and really looking at it, you don't see a price around here at all. You would have to actually go in and, pledge for it in order to be able to know what the prices are for all of these different pledge levels. I don't know if that's like purposely done or someone forgot to put it in or whatever, because I feel like there's an open space right here next to this where the price should go and just hasn't been put on. But just for your FYI, I actually pulled it up on my phone so I can read it along the way. The basic edition, again, that's just kind of everything. You could play the game. You play the game, everything you have here. You just mostly wooden pieces. You have these wooden pieces right here, which are nice, and all this is all cardboard. The basic edition is $29. The premium edition, which gives you upgrades for your ingredients and your basically tracker tokens, is $39. And again, what I backed, and again, it hits right in my price range of everything I love, including shipping and things along that ways. It's fantastic. The collector's edition is $49. So you got $29, $39, $49, all the way up to $49 gets you a full-on deluxe version of the game, collector's edition, with all the extra stuff and the tuck boxes and triple layer boards and all the fancy bells and whistles to make the game beautiful, including that UV coating. Now, you also get the loyalty program with the collector's edition and only the collector's edition. The final pledge level, if you're interested or whatever, is the collector bundle. You'll be able to get not only the collector's edition of So You've Been Cursed, but a collector's edition of So You've Been Eaten, which once again, as I pull it up, is what this is. And this is what I've shown on my channel here. The components that you see me use when you see me going over how to play, and then the 3 different ways in order to play this or whatever, all come from the collector's edition. And that is $98 for the 2 of these. And basically free shipping, les free shipping for, i.e., or I should say, free shipping for You've Been Eaten. So it's a $9 shipping discount, and I believe you also get the loyalty program. So if you've backed other LuciCreation games, you'll get that knocked off, $9 off as well, if you were interested in getting both of these, the So You've Been Cursed, So You've Been Eaten, So You've Been Saga. I'm going to keep trying to figure out a good word for that going from there. Now, other notes for this, so that was a big note right there in terms of prices. As far as discount goes, backers of the collector's edition will receive a credit for $1 per previous LuciCreation campaign they have backed in the past, up to a maximum of $5 off. So $49.99 would bring it down to $44.99. Some of you may not think that's a huge discount, but I'm going to be honest with you, any dollar saved is dollar wonderful by me. And I'm working my way up now to more, should this become a bigger series, even more of these. So I'll get $1 off right now. Hooray. Next, So You've Been, I'll get $2 off, etc. from there. Apply to post campaign, blah, 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 blah. The Weird Livestock promo is included in the collector's edition only. It will be available for $5 after the campaign is end. So If you choose not to get it now, you can buy it later, but it is going to cost you a little bit more. And the tuck box sleeve cards will fit into them, including the collector's edition, which is fantastic. I haven't sleeved anything from So You've Been Eaten. Sleeves are very precious. I only really sleeve certain things, but always good to know that the people out there that love to sleeve everything will fit into the tuck boxes. Fantastic. Thank you so much. That is great. Now, a little bit more breakdown of the pledge levels just to show you what you get depending where you are. Basic, premium, collectors bundle. So if you are collectors, you still get the box. It's just the UV one. You get the better boards, you get the better tiles, but then you get all of this as well. It's just a lot. There's just so much you get with that collector's edition. It's crazy. And yes, you get a lot of doubles on stuff and everything. But it's worth it to me personally, just because I love it so much. But, you know, you may not want to do that. You may only have a little bit in your account. You have a very limited budget, but this is still really cool to you. Maybe you go the $29 route in order to get everything else. Or maybe you just go ahead and try it for yourself. I'm going to zip through this really quickly because now is a better time than any to talk about the fact that you can try the game. Hooray! Tabletop Simulator. They have mods for the 2-player game, Monster versus Wizard, 1 player where you are the wizard versus the rabid monster, and 1 player where you are the monster versus the possessed wizard. They don't have the 0 player or whatever, but I'm sure you can figure it out on your own. Otherwise, I have done, as of right now, I've actually completed this video, and it will be going on the channel soon, the 1-player wizard versus rabid monster play on Tabletop Simulator. Expect a Tabletop Simulator showcase for Curse, So You've Been Cursed, I almost called it something else for some reason, to come out shortly. So be sure to keep an eye out for that so you can see exactly how the game is played more visually than what I'm going to talk about right now, which is, you know, how it's listed here on the Kickstarter. So here we go, gameplay. The Game Boy Geek, again, does a fantastic job kind of going over. This is a 1-minute overview, but if you go further down, he actually has a full-on game rules right here that will go over how to play the wizard, how to play the monster, what's different about the possessed wizard, and what's different about the ravenous monster, which again, my TTS showcase, which you will see shortly, is going to be a wizard versus ravenous monster. Very interesting game, but this kind of breaks down a little bit about how each of the characters, you know, do their thing. Your 2-player game where the wizard's turn begins, a new villager arrives. That's just kind of how it goes anyway. If you are ever playing as the wizard, a new villager will generally arrive at the beginning of every one of your turns, which gives you more options in order to buy stuff, but also gives the monster more meat on the board in order to eat. The sheep are things that the monster eats in order to gain more power, whether it be playing as the monster or the ravenous monster. And then these right here are your different ingredients that the wizard needs in order to be able to make the curse, whereas the monster will be going up the curse track in order to make sure that it is permanent. I love it. It's a simple board, very easy to read. The only weird thing about this sometimes is that there is a lot of symbology in this that you have to get used to. It's going to take maybe 1 or 2 games, which is kind of average, right? I say for most games, in order to understand what each one of the symbols on the cards means. However, within the rule book, it does give a written out explanation about what each card is as well, which I use all the time. My favorite though here is the 0-player game, not the OP game, the 0-player game. Yes, much like its successor, predecessor, I should say, hello. So You've Been Eaten. The game can be played with 0 players. It's possible, it works, and it is a valid way to play, and it is a fun way to play too. Trust me, I love it. I can't wait to try this one out. And no, the game does not set up and play by itself. You still have to put in some work for questionable bragging rights. Yeah, sure. But I want to point this out too. So there's the monster token. There's the wizard token. It's actually the exact same token. What I love about the physical version of the game, it doesn't happen in the TTS version, is that when you're playing as a wizard, you're looking at this side, and then when the monster goes, you flip it over, and boom, it's the monster side. Why is that important? Because whatever space the wizard stops on, that's the space that the monster is going to be taking their turn from. And that could mean putting them in range of various villagers to go nom 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 on. And now we have the video showcase. I definitely recommend going through and checking out these videos just to kind of give you a good idea of if this really is something that you would like to add to your collection, especially because if you've played So You've Been Eaten, I've seen some kind of mixed reviews on that or whatever. I still really love it. Again, I play it very often, so You've Been Cursed was almost a no-brainer for me the moment I saw it, but having a good idea of the concepts, the mechanics, and just kind of how the pieces move around the board and where you need to set things up and whatever, if there's any fiddliness to it or whatever, you know, these videos really do go into a lot of details that way that I recommend you watching. You know, we got a preview right here. We got a fantastic playthrough right here from these two, giving a good show of what each side does, you know, when a player plays them. I think it was Wizard and Monster. No, I think she was the Wizard and he was a Monster. I gotta go back and watch it again. This is like one of the first videos I watched. You know, one-stop co-op stop right here. Obviously, he did Possessed Wizard versus Monster. So he played as the monster in this, going up against the Possessed Wizard. That's why my TTS showcase, I wanted to do the opposite anyway. He mentioned how the Wizard was very hard to play. I agree with him after playing with it so much, but you'll have to check out that playthrough to know for sure. Some more previews down here for it, you know, again, to get a good idea of how the game goes, and some really cool photos that you can get for the game just to see it set up, you know, some fanciness to it. Oh, look at that wizard doing his brewing thing, the monster, you know, the monster cards, what they look like. And again, this is what I mean. There's a lot of symbology on these cards that unless you've played a few times, you're not too sure about. So like, this is how much energy this card costs to play. This is the type of card it is. It's either a constant, like passive ability that attaches to either the wizard or to the monster, or it's an immediate one-time ability, which I'll have a lightning bolt on it. This says that this attaches to the wizard. This tells you what you cannot do. You cannot steal or something along that ways. And this tells you how to get rid of it. This tells you up here where you can use this card. So either the regular monster or the possessed or ravenous monster can use it, but you shouldn't have it if you're also playing against the possessed wizard. Like there's a lot of different things in here. So there's another continuous thing. Just you got to learn how to read these cards, which could take a little while. But again, in the instruction manual, you could just look up shaky hands and it'll tell you exactly what the card does, not only for this case, the monster, but how it may affect the possessed monster if it's a little bit different of an effect. Few pieces right here, some good stuff in order to have, you know, good promo materials for their dice, their other stuff, and then the international availability. All right, so we've been partnered with a range of retailers around the world that are supporting the campaign. Each retailer has exclusive insights to their territory, and each set their price and delivery policy. So I guess you have to go through these certain websites in order to be able to get the edition that you're looking for, depending on where you are. So Europe we have here, United Kingdom at Zatu Games, Canada would go through games.ca. I'm assuming doing this is a great thing because it helps lower the cost of shipping for each one of these regions. Now, again, there is no shipping. I don't even know if there's a international USA shipping cost here. We have fulfillment, which will talk about how it's going to go through the USA, blah, 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 pledge management, shipping costs. Here we are. So it's $9 straight down through. Discount, shipping fees, blah, 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 $9.99. Okay, so it's going to be $9.99 or whatever for the United States. I can only imagine how crazy it would be for all of these other countries throughout the world. And going through these different, other distributors and everything is probably the best way in order to lower it down. So good idea, awesome way to do it. They won't be able to gain the fundage from these people into the campaign, but because this campaign doesn't have any type of stretch goals or anything like that to unlock, it's actually a really smart idea. And I don't know, maybe this is something that other companies need to look into as well. See how it goes. The last thing I do want to talk about with this Kickstarter, and I did mention it earlier in this video, is the NOBSKS, or the No Blah Kickstarter policy that they have. What you see is what you get. We like to run simple, straightforward campaigns. We are aware that stretch goals would increase the funding total. However, we have already thrown everything into this game and a lot of time, effort, and money. We've already going into printing with the highest quality materials. Great, wonderful, fantastic. I love it. We also want to offer the game at the cheapest possible cost, and that it is in comparison with stretch goals, because you never know what stretch goals may or may not work, which ones are going to resonate with the people going with this and everything. We've had hidden profit in the pledge levels that can spend to give you stretch goals, yeah, you know, it is what it is. Nothing is for free. Raising money beyond our goals does not give any extra money on us. So again, they're being very transparent with it. They're just letting you know we're not going to put any of this in there because there's no benefit for us, and there's really no benefit for you out there as well for their style of games. Now, there are other companies out there that rely on stretch goals in order to be able to put out more for you, more content, more ability to see different things in their games and things along that ways. And that's great. That's all on them. And I still follow and support many companies that do that. But LuciCreation does not. It's what you see is what you get. And I am also it's again, just a new refreshing take on a Kickstarter, because sometimes you go into it and you're just like, all right, how much is this really going to cost me in the end, with certain companies that will constantly put out expansions throughout the course of their Kickstarter, where your initial $50 pledge is now $250 by the time it is done. That can get very exhausting at times. And it's nice to just see what it is right off the hop. What am I getting? What's in the box? What am I going to play with? How is it going to look? And what options do I have to buy it on day one? Thank you guys again for that. And, you know, regardless of other companies or whatnot follow this or not, it's still nice to see every so often. And there you have it, everybody. So you've been cursed. The Kickstarter campaign that at the point of this video has about 15 days or so left, so it's going to be less when you go ahead and check it out, which is, of course, down in the description section below. Go click that link. It's raised about $65,000 so far, which is nice because they were looking at $10,000 as their minimum, so it's far exceeded that, which, you know, is amazing, because that means that they should make more of these going into the future, plus whatever it is that they managed to pull from the international links that you saw down the bottom for anybody else in other countries. Again, probably just to help save on shipping and to help them distribute it out a little bit better, you know, around the world. So kudos to them. Fantastic. Go check out that Kickstarter. And of course, let me know what you think of So You've Been Cursed down in the comment section below. Have you checked out those videos at all that I mentioned to you? Are you interested in it all? And have you played So You've Been Eaten? And if so, have you watched my videos? You should. They're old. They're like the second game I ever did on this channel, so they're a little bit dated compared to stuff I do now, but they're still a good time. I've still seen them every so often pop up as like someone is watching. So definitely check that out if you haven't already. Thank you all once again for joining me on this journey about why I backed So You've Been Cursed. Last thing I'm curious about, you guys, what would your next game in this series be? So you've been what? What would it be? What would the mechanics maybe be? What would the concepts be? Things along that way. Not looking for anything like detailed or whatever, but it'd be nice to see what other thoughts go into this, because now that we have 2 in the series, we can start seeing a pattern about how they play of sorts, and you can start really coming up with all these new and innovative ideas for the next one in the series. In order not to miss that or any other fun games that I happen to put out for you to enjoy, be sure you are subscribed to the Home Gamer Dad. So you've been wondering about how to support the channel even further. To do that, you can head on down to the description section for a bunch of different ways in order to do that. But the big one for this would be going on to the Kickstarter itself. Click that link, head on over, check it out for yourself, see all those videos, see if there's something that you'd be interested in, and of course, sharing with your friends and family and things along that ways in order to be able to spread the word about this even more. So you've been wondering when I'm finally going to end this video? It's going to happen right now. Thank you all again. Take care of yourselves and each other. We are family forever, gaming together. Until the next time when I find a really cool game that I'll be backing on Kickstarter, GameFound, or whatever backer kit or whatever type of crowdfunding things that are out there, or until I just put out the next video for you to enjoy, you guys have a good one, and I will catch you all later.